First, crop failure. According to the field experiment in Brunswick in Germany, the increase of CO2 density in the air actually benefits and accelerates the growth of plants. Desert, sea level rises. As you know, the global mean sea level rises as measured by satellite 3.1 millimeters a year for the last decade, slightly more than 12 inches a century. However, satellite shows considerable variation. Thus, the northern Pacific has risen, but the southern Pacific has fallen by several millimeters in recent years. Glaciers and icebergs in South Pole melt. Is that so? According to reports, new ice in the sky glaciers and ice sheet. In recent 30 years, the glaciers in Greenland had already covered back its part, which they had lost a century before. These so-called glacial surge mean that the glaciers advance and move backwards substantially. According to the paper, interpretation of recent southern hemisphere climate change, Antarctic Peninsula has warmed several degrees, while the interior has cooled somewhat. Antarctic Peninsula takes 2% in the whole Antarctic, and the other 98% part is increasing at 26.8 gigatons. And mountain Kilimanjaro, which is economists' favorite example for global warming. Yes, you may see in the picture the ice cap on the mountain Kilimanjaro is decreasing. But the paper points out the reason why the ice cap is diminishing is because the deforestation in this part and this part. As you can see, the mountain Kilimanjaro loses its forest down below, and the wind blow up contains no more sufficient water to form the snow. After year 2000, the sea ice in the North Pole came back again. The surface it covered is far ahead than recent 10 years. It's just coming back all of a sudden. No one still knows why. And that's how mysterious the climate is. We can never predict. Extreme weather event occurrences. In the article, Tropical Cyclones and Global Climate Change, it says that the number of hurricanes occurred in the world are not increasing. And here's a diagram in America. You can see that it varies. It just varies randomly. So we have shown you the evidence, and there is no direct cause-effect relationship between the increased amount of CO2 in the air and average temperature around the world. And we believe we had just exposed all those myths people used to believe in will actually not exist. Next, we'll talk about why and how this global warming hypothesis become so popular in the last 20 years.
If all data mentioned above is correct and indicates that global warming is not composed of accurate evidence, then why do scientists and the government still believe this hypothesis? According to the book State of Fear, it is because the chain of conspiracy. Scientists need large amount of money to conduct researches. Who pays for the scientists? It's the government. And what the government wants is to create a catastrophe in order to control the nation, because people tend to rely on the mighty government when they are facing the upcoming disaster. As a result, the scientists establish a theory perfectly fitting with the government's expectations so that they can get paid. And do not forget the powerful media as a perfect communicator between the government and the people. The media cannot be happier play this role because they can sell more copies by being accomplice of this conspiracy. This is a vicious cycle. And in the modern age where information explodes every minute, everyone has an easy access to all sorts of information. Based on a report by the Daily Mail, people get in touch with approximately 100,500 words a day. There's too much information for people to digest. As a result, people do not have time to sift all the information, so they tend to swallow it before chewing it. On the other hand, the quality of messages is uneven. People believe in some theory that might not even exist. So far, we have shown you the truth about global warming by showing you the evidence and the reasons why this hypothesis is still prevalent in the world. Next, we are going to talk about some approaches to examine their information. When we receive information, we should examine its credibility by reviewing the evidence. For instance, first we should think about the intentions of the media or the motivations behind the research, and then observe if there is any relationship between the government, the scientists, and the media. There are always two sides to a story, and we should not neglect the other side. Observing the whole situation before making any judgments and being neutral might be the best way to see things. And in the former speech, we had illustrated the reason why the hypothesis global warming is still so popular around the world and why no one questions this theory. And that we talk about solutions to break this myth. And now, imagine a newly invented theory which precisely warns the public of latent crisis and provides curable solutions. The theory has been taught in school and reported repetitively on the press, supported by scientists, politicians, and celebrities. Both President Roosevelt and Prime Minister Churchill approved the theory. The U.S. government even built the Cold Spring Harbor Institute at New York to promote the theory. If you were a teenager then, you will surely learn the theory in your high school lecture and will read it in your textbook, newspapers, and comic books. Among the half-century where the issue had been discussed and raised as a great concern, researchers' laws and verdicts were all spinning around the world. The theory is called eugenics, one of the most notorious pseudoscience in human society, human history. For us, 100 years later, the theory seems undoubtedly ridiculous and hilarious. We all know that Jews and the non-Caucasians had equal performance at all fields. However, when the historians look back at this issue, surprisingly, they found out that there is no objective, solid basis for the eugenics. Today, the world is indulging in the thought of global warming. What do you expect the people in 100 years to see us as we view Adolf Hitler right now? From this moment on, stop using the phrase global warming in your conversation or on your Facebook, Twitter, or Plurk. Use global warming hypothesis instead. And we'll look at a short film.
Planet Earth, the third planet in the solar system, the one and the only hometown of human beings. We all try to protect the planet, but the bad rescue prescriptions result only costly disasters. Just now, open and use your own eyes to face this inconvincible truth. We're done.